From the moment Makima appears in Chainsaw Man, she speaks softly, smiles gently, and watches everything with calm, unblinking eyes. Her presence feels safe on the surface, yet deeply wrong underneath. She embodies the kind of danger that does not chase you, it waits for you to walk into its arms willingly. Makima's power is psychological before it is supernatural. What makes Makima unforgettable is that she represents control in its most seductive form. She does not dominate through fear alone but through affection, validation, and the illusion of choice. People follow her not because they are forced to, but because they want to believe in her. She understands human weakness better than anyone else in the series. Every smile she gives is calculated, every kindness is transactional, and every silence hides something monstrous. Makima is not merely a villain or antagonist, she is a concept made flesh. She is the control devil, yes, but also the embodiment of systems, authority, and emotional manipulation. Her story is about how power works in the real world, quietly, efficiently, and without remorse. She is danger disguised as order. And the most chilling part is that she truly believes she is doing the right thing. 1. Makima sees humans as tools, not individuals. Makima does not hate humans, and that is what makes her cruelty so absolute. She simply does not see them as equals or even as people. To her, humans are resources, objects that exist to be used for a greater goal. This perspective allows her to commit atrocities without hesitation or guilt. When people die under her command, she does not mourn them. Their deaths are just acceptable losses in a larger calculation. Her calm demeanor reinforces this mindset. She never raises her voice or shows panic because tools do not require emotional engagement. This is why her violence feels colder than that of other devils. There is no anger behind it, only efficiency. Makima's worldview strips humanity of its emotional value. She speaks to people as if they matter, but her actions reveal the truth. Her kindness is conditional and temporary. The moment someone stops being useful, they become disposable. This is especially visible in how she treats public safety devil hunters. Loyalty means nothing to her unless it produces results. Makima's ability to emotionally manipulate stems from this detachment. Because she does not empathize, she can observe human emotions objectively. She studies fear, love, devotion, and insecurity like a scientist studying specimens. This allows her to exploit them perfectly. Humans reveal their weaknesses to her without realizing it. Her relationship with Denji highlights this most painfully. She offers him affection, validation, and purpose, knowing he has never experienced any of these. To Denji, she feels like salvation. To Makima, he is a key, nothing more. This imbalance of perception defines her cruelty. Makima's lack of individuality extends even to death. Names, faces, and memories mean nothing once someone is gone. What matters is whether their existence advanced her vision. This is why she can orchestrate mass death without hesitation. Her morality is entirely utilitarian. 2. Makima uses love as a weapon. Makima understands that love is the most powerful form of control. Fear can make people obey, but love makes them surrender willingly. She does not force affection, she cultivates it. She presents herself as warm, gentle, and protective. People feel safe around her before they ever realize the cost. Her manipulation of Denji is the clearest example. She gives him basic human kindness, food, praise, attention, things he has never received before. This creates emotional dependency. Denji does not question her intentions because the emotional reward is too powerful. She becomes his entire world. Makima never explicitly promises love, but she implies it constantly. This ambiguity keeps Denji chasing her approval. He internalizes her expectations, molding himself to please her. This is control at its most insidious, when the victim polices themselves. Makima does not need chains when devotion does the work. Even her physical closeness is calculated. Touch, eye contact, and tone are used strategically. She knows exactly how much affection to give and when to withdraw it. This creates emotional instability in her targets. They become desperate to regain her approval. Her use of love extends beyond Denji. Subordinates idolize her. Enemies fear her. Allies trust her blindly. Each relationship is shaped differently, but the outcome is the same: control. Makima tailors her manipulation to the emotional needs of each individual. What makes this horrifying is that Makima does not view this as cruelty. To her, love is simply another tool. She does not understand the emotional damage she causes because emotions themselves are irrelevant to her. This disconnect makes her manipulation absolute. Makima proves that love without empathy becomes exploitation. She turns one of humanity's greatest strengths into its greatest weakness. And by doing so, she ensures loyalty that no amount of violence could achieve. 3. Makima's mystery is a deliberate power strategy. Makima never explains herself fully, and that is intentional. Mystery creates authority. When people do not understand someone, they project power onto them. Makima uses silence as a weapon. She withholds information to maintain psychological dominance. Her lack of visible emotion makes her unreadable. People cannot predict her reactions, which makes them cautious around her. This uncertainty forces others to constantly self-monitor. They behave carefully, afraid of crossing an invisible line. Makima does not need to threaten anyone, her presence alone enforces obedience. She reveals only what benefits her. Every fragment of information she shares is calculated to shape perception. People believe they know her, but they only know the version she allows them to see. This creates false intimacy. It feels like trust, but it is control. Makima's mystery also shields her from accountability. When actions go wrong, responsibility becomes diffuse. No one fully understands her plan, so no one can challenge it. This allows her to operate above scrutiny. Power thrives in ambiguity. Her true identity as the control devil is hidden until it no longer matters. By the time the truth is revealed, she has already secured dominance. Knowledge arrives too late to stop her. This timing is crucial, it reflects her strategic brilliance. Makima's mystery keeps others reactive instead of proactive. They respond to events rather than anticipating them. This places her permanently ahead of everyone else. She does not rush because she controls the pace. In the end, Makima's silence speaks louder than words. It reminds everyone that the most dangerous forces are not loud or chaotic. They are quiet, patient, and watching. 4. Makima is the physical manifestation of the control devil's philosophy. Makima is not merely possessed by control, she is control given a human shape. As the control devil, her very existence is rooted in the fear of domination, authority, and loss of autonomy. Humans fear being controlled more than they realize, and that fear fuels her power. This makes her strongest in societies built on hierarchy and obedience. She thrives where order is valued more than freedom. Unlike chaotic devils, Makima believes control brings peace. She sees disorder as the root of suffering. To her, freedom causes pain because humans make destructive choices. Control, in her mind, is mercy. This twisted logic allows her to justify every atrocity she commits. She genuinely believes she is improving the world. Makima's calm behavior reflects this ideology. She does not lash out emotionally because control requires stability. Emotional chaos weakens authority. Her restraint makes her feel godlike compared to other devils driven by impulse. This contrast reinforces her superiority complex. Her powers function symbolically. She does not need physical proximity to dominate others. Control transcends distance. She can crush enemies using others as conduits, reflecting how systems of power operate indirectly. Violence is outsourced. Responsibility becomes invisible. Makima's contracts with others reinforce this theme. People submit willingly, believing obedience grants protection. But submission only tightens her grip. The illusion of safety masks exploitation. This mirrors real-world power structures that promise order at the cost of autonomy. She does not see herself as evil because evil implies intent to harm. Makima sees herself as a caretaker of humanity. In her mind, a controlled world is a safe world. Individual suffering becomes irrelevant when measured against collective order. This belief makes her terrifying. Villains who know they are evil can be reasoned with. Makima cannot. 5. Makima understands fear hierarchies better than any devil. Makima does not rely solely on brute strength. She understands how fear itself functions. Some fears are primal, others social, and some existential. Control sits above many of them because it governs behavior. Fear of punishment, fear of authority, fear of losing protection, all flow into her domain. She positions herself above other devils by exploiting this hierarchy. Devils fear her not because she is louder or more violent, but because she commands systems that can erase them. Her power feels inevitable. Even stronger devils hesitate around her. Fear grows when resistance feels pointless. Makima also manipulates human fear priorities. She knows humans will trade freedom for safety. She leverages fear of chaos, poverty, loneliness, and death to secure obedience. People cling to her because she represents stability in a terrifying world. Her calm presence lowers immediate fear while increasing long-term dependence. This is psychological conditioning. People stop fearing her directly and start fearing life without her. This dependency deepens control more effectively than terror ever could. Makima rarely threatens explicitly. She lets others imagine consequences. The human mind creates worse punishments than reality. This makes her power efficient and sustainable. Fear that is imagined lasts longer than fear that is witnessed. She also weaponizes comparative fear. Compared to devils, Makima appears humane. This false contrast makes people excuse her actions. At least she's not like them, they think. This moral misdirection keeps her untouchable. By mastering fear hierarchy, Makima ensures loyalty from both humans and devils. She does not dominate through chaos but through inevitability. Resistance feels irrational. Submission feels logical. 6. Makima rewrites identity through obedience. Makima does not just control actions, she reshapes identity. Over time, those under her influence lose their sense of self. Their desires align with hers. Their morality becomes hers. This is the deepest form of control. She rewards obedience subtly. Praise, acknowledgement, proximity, these become emotional currency. People measure their worth by how useful they are to her. This erodes internal motivation. Identity shifts from, "Who am I?" to, "What does Makima want?" Denji's transformation under her influence is tragic. His dreams stop being his own. His goals revolve around pleasing her. Even his sense of happiness becomes externally defined. He no longer imagines a future without her approval. Makima does not rush this process. Identity erosion takes time. She allows small choices to create the illusion of agency. But every path leads back to her. This makes the loss of autonomy invisible until it is complete. Her subordinates do not rebel because rebellion feels like betrayal of self. When identity is tied to obedience, resistance feels like self-destruction. Makima creates loyalty that survives logic. She replaces moral frameworks with functional ones. Good becomes useful. Bad becomes inefficient. This dehumanizes ethical judgment. People stop questioning outcomes as long as results are achieved. This is why her control persists even after her intentions are revealed. Truth does not break psychological conditioning instantly. The damage is already done. Makima's influence lingers like an infection. 7. Makima's greatest danger is her belief that she is necessary. Makima believes the world needs her. This belief makes her unstoppable. She does not seek power for pleasure but for purpose. She sees herself as a pillar holding reality together. Without her, she believes chaos would consume everything. This sense of necessity fuels her God complex. She does not ask for permission. She does not seek consensus. Gods do not negotiate with mortals. They decide. Makima operates from this elevated perspective. She interprets resistance as ignorance. Anyone opposing her simply doesn't understand yet. This removes the need for dialogue. Violence becomes education. Death becomes correction. Her morality transcends empathy. Makima's vision of a perfect world is terrifying because it excludes individuality. In her ideal reality, suffering is minimized by eliminating choice. Happiness becomes standardized. Freedom becomes obsolete. She is willing to erase concepts she deems harmful. This includes not just devils, but human experiences. Pain, failure, fear, these shape humanity, yet Makima sees them as flaws. Her solution is deletion, not healing. This makes her a danger not just to individuals, but to existence itself. A world under her control would be quiet, orderly, and hollow. Humanity would survive physically but die spiritually. Makima is dangerous because she never doubts herself. Doubt creates restraint. Certainty creates tyranny. And Makima's certainty is absolute. 8. Makima's obsession with Chainsaw Man reveals her greatest weakness. Makima's fixation on Chainsaw Man exposes a vulnerability she would never admit. Chainsaw Man represents erasure, complete, irreversible deletion. This power threatens her authority over reality itself. Yet instead of eliminating him, she nurtures and manipulates him. This choice is emotional, not strategic. She idolizes Chainsaw Man because he can erase devils from existence, something even she cannot do alone. This makes him feel godlike in her eyes. Her admiration borders on reverence. It is one of the few moments where Makima is not in complete control of her emotions. At the same time, she wants to own him. Worship and possession merge into obsession. She cannot accept a force greater than herself unless it belongs to her. This mirrors her broader philosophy: power must be controlled, not allowed to exist freely. Her treatment of Denji is especially cruel because Denji is not Chainsaw Man in her eyes, he is merely the vessel. She dehumanizes Denji completely. His feelings, dreams, and pain are irrelevant as long as Chainsaw Man remains accessible. This obsession blinds her. She underestimates Denji precisely because she never sees him as a threat. Her fixation on the symbol causes her to overlook the human element. This miscalculation becomes fatal. Makima's downfall begins the moment she confuses ownership with understanding. She believes control equals mastery. But Chainsaw Man cannot be truly owned, only confronted. Her obsession reveals that even the embodiment of control can be undone by desire. 9. Makima represents institutional evil, not personal malice. Makima is not evil in a theatrical sense. She does not enjoy suffering for its own sake. Her cruelty is systematic, not sadistic. This makes her far more disturbing than villains driven by rage or pleasure. She operates like an institution. Decisions are made based on outcomes, not morality. Individuals are sacrificed for stability. Accountability is diffused across systems. This allows her to function without guilt. Makima's language reflects this mindset. She speaks in calm, bureaucratic terms. Violence is framed as necessity. Death becomes paperwork. This emotional detachment normalizes atrocity. She does not see herself as cruel because cruelty implies intent to hurt. Makima believes she is optimizing the world. Suffering is collateral, not the goal. This justification mirrors real-world authoritarian logic. Her power thrives in environments where obedience is praised. Hierarchies protect her. Laws become tools rather than limits. She embodies how evil can flourish quietly under the guise of order. Because she appears rational, people trust her. Rationality feels safe. This false security allows her to expand control unchecked. Emotional villains are questioned. Rational ones are obeyed. Makima shows that the most dangerous evil does not scream, it signs documents and smiles politely. 10. Makima eliminates choice to eliminate suffering. Makima genuinely believes choice is the root of pain. Humans make mistakes. Mistakes cause suffering. Therefore, removing choice removes suffering. This logic is clean, efficient, and horrifying. In her ideal world, humans would not need to decide. They would be guided, protected, directed. Freedom becomes a liability rather than a right. Happiness becomes engineered rather than earned. She sees individuality as chaos. Personal desire creates conflict. Conflict creates pain. Makima's solution is standardization. A controlled world is a predictable world. This philosophy strips life of meaning. Growth comes from struggle. Identity forms through choice. By removing these, Makima creates a world that functions but does not live. Her plan is not malicious, it is surgical. She wants to excise what she views as harmful aspects of humanity. Unfortunately, those aspects are what make humanity human. Makima cannot understand this because she does not experience growth the way humans do. She exists fully formed. Change feels unnecessary. This blinds her to the value of imperfection. Her vision would succeed technically, but fail spiritually. A painless world without freedom is a cage disguised as paradise. 11. Makima's calmness is her most terrifying weapon. Makima is never frantic. Never desperate. Never visibly afraid. This emotional stillness destabilizes everyone around her. Humans rely on emotional cues to judge danger. Makima offers none. Her calmness implies inevitability. It suggests she has already accounted for every outcome. This discourages resistance. People hesitate to fight someone who appears unconcerned. She does not rush because time works in her favor. Control grows slowly and quietly. Panic creates mistakes. Calm creates domination. Even in moments of violence, she remains composed. This reframes brutality as procedure. The lack of emotion removes moral friction. Killing becomes routine. Her calmness also hides her intentions. Anger reveals goals. Fear reveals weakness. Calmness reveals nothing. This makes her unreadable and untouchable. Makima's stillness creates psychological pressure. Others become emotional in her presence. She remains steady. This imbalance reinforces authority. In the end, her calmness is not peace, it is certainty. And certainty, when absolute, is terrifying. What makes Makima unforgettable is not just her power, but her conviction. She never doubts that she is right. And in that certainty lies her greatest danger. A world shaped by her vision would be quiet, efficient, and empty, free of pain, but also free of growth, love, and freedom. Her tragedy is that she seeks connection yet destroys it wherever she goes. She wants equality, yet cannot exist without dominance. Makima reminds us that the most terrifying monsters do not roar, they reassure. They promise safety, order, and peace, while slowly taking away the very things that make life worth living. Her story forces us to ask an uncomfortable question: how much control are we willing to accept in exchange for security? Because once control becomes absolute, freedom does not disappear suddenly, it fades quietly, smiling back at us as it goes.